darkest dread. Come with me into the very cradle of darkness, where those who dwell alone. Attention viewers.
Anyway, this story is not very blatant, like the message. Only if you know occult knowledge and after you understand melanin, hybrid people, and what your melanin does, and you get on a certain frequency of Bobby Hemmett, you are going to be able to see through the movies, the government, and it's just like having the glasses on, the eyeglasses on, in the movie They Live. You are going to be able, you have x-ray vision, and you're going to be able to just see through. You're going to see through the superficial layer of the movie, the entertainment layer, right into the underlying message that is a secret message that the whole movie is based on, but it's all covered up. You would just never know it. So anyway, this is a very simple TV episode called The Consumers, and let me see if I can explain it. Okay. Number one, the TV show is about, this episode is about a young man who works in a grocery store. And he has a girlfriend at the grocery store that he really likes. Number two, the shoppers in that grocery store are all senior people. He sees them all the time. They're wandering through the aisles, and sometimes they don't even buy anything. Number three, this kid has a nonchalant, careless attitude and isn't ambitious. So that is just that is how they want young people to be. Okay, so they're perpetuating that idea of carelessness. So what happens is that the young man notices that other young people working in the grocery store get replaced, like they disappear. And one of the people that disappear is his friend. But he sees his friend disappear into the freezer. He's taken into the freezer. And he sees that his young friend returns out of the freezer and ends up with a senior lady. Now, before, that senior lady was a couple. She was married. Then suddenly, the young man becomes her boyfriend, basically. So what is happening is that the old people are buying the youth of the young person. Okay, they're buying the youth. But instead of being in the old body, the whole person is replaced. Okay, usually you will see a story like this where the old person becomes young, but they're still old looking on the outside. But in this story, they just capture the whole person. So the young person, um, their body and everything is taken from them. So the wife, that senior wife, she had not made the purchase yet. Okay, but she was going to. So anyway, the young man, the main character, witnesses all of this. Okay, so that, oh, and in the end, the young man knows his power. Okay, so he tells them, they catch him. Okay, after some time they catch him, and they're gonna make him go into the freezer to make the body exchange. But the young man says, look, you might use my body, but my spirit is going to never rest, and it's always going to fight you, and you're never going to possess me completely. Okay, so now I will tell you the metaphysical meaning of this. Okay, now I know this is deep for people, but if you're on the Bobby Hemmett frequency, you might be near to understanding how serious this is. Okay, because again, what I'm saying is from watching every single Bobby Hemmett video. I have watched every single one, not over a long time span. I watched them all, uh, you know, one after the other, week after week after week. I have looked at all of it. And I was at a point where I was taking notes, but because I know um, I couldn't manage the notes, like I would just write them randomly. That is how I just start talking from my head. You know, I just start talking from my head. So anyway, what I'm telling you is it's 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 based on Bobby Hemmett, but also further research into the elite and what they do and how they're, I'm sorry to tell you. I mean, I'm not sorry to tell you, but I know you can't imagine that they're eating babies in some form, okay? They're eating people, but it's black people. So, and they've been doing this before. That's the thing you don't know is Bobby Hemmett has pointed out books, scholarly books, that document the eating of black people. And you know that your organs get butchered. What the hell you think they're doing with it? It's not just on the organ market. They are basically, your whole body is an energetic, it it can be used. Okay, the energy is so powerful that it can be used. So just your melanin alone, it is like, because black people are the eternal people, that means that your body has the essence of the energy of eternalism. So let me slow down, and so anyway, just let me finish that. That means when that energy is ingested, when that energy is even taken in as an edible source, it transfers the energy to the host, okay, the consumer. That's why this movie is called Consumers, because they're basically showing you that they are eating black people, but they're not showing you that they're eating black people. And the point is, they're eating the energy of you. like I say the energy of you so that somebody that is new can understand, oh, why would they eat black people? They're not eating you like a piece of chicken for your meat. You have to understand the dynamics of your DNA. It is supernatural. It is what is keep. You know how they say, "Oh, black don't crack." It's a shame that people can't figure this out. I mean, they just say black don't crack like it's a vanity, but they don't understand it is because of the power of your melanin and that you are the eternal being. That is why your that is why you are stronger, faster, more healthy usually, and your skin is more uh, youthful. You don't age as fast as them. So let me put a period on that and let me explain the other side of that. When I look at people, black, white people now, I just think it's hard for me to look at them now, actually, because they look so grotesque, because they look like a ghost. I mean, we have been programmed to think that white is normal and white is majority because that's all you see on TV. But actually, my view, my actual looking at a white person is that they look sick. They look sick and ghostly and near death, actually. You know, their skin is just, it's ghastly, in my opinion. Really, it's ghastly because it's just white. It's, it's pink. It's just, it lacks life, you know? They look dead. So, why is that? It is because of the origin of because of their beginning. They are a created being. They are a created being. That means a man made them. Okay? And Bobby Hemmett said, he explained this in one of his lectures. He doesn't explain this often, though. He should explain this more, really, so people can get, so they can understand the actual science and scholarship of how man exists and how this beast exists. Okay? What he said is that, first of all, I don't know when they came into existence. Really, I don't. But he said that at some point, um, scientists, okay, black scientists, okay, maybe there's like two sects of scientists, okay? There's two levels of scientists. And one of them just became rogue. They didn't keep up with the standards of whatever they were experimenting on. So they just decided to do something on their own. And they also, really, he said they also manipulated this on a spiritual level. Like they use spiritual magic to do it. They physically manipulated the DNA, but they also did it on a spiritual level. You know, they were using the power on that level. Okay? Because that's when this is a time when you knew all knowledge, okay? So anyway, basically he said there was a rogue group of scientists that started experimenting on their own, but they were also doing it on a spiritual level, and it got out of hand and they created this hybrid person, okay? So the hybrid person It's easy to understand. You now understand, I mean, hybrid plants are more, they're not new. Okay, this having a hybrid plant is not something new, because according to the knowledge shared by Dr. Laila Africa and Dr. Sabi, they pointed out a lot of food is hybrid. The carrot is hybrid. Any any starchy plant, that's a hybrid, because Dr. Sabi said this. In nature, nature does not produce starchy plants. They don't. So all the starchy plants are hybrids. The carrot is man-made, and you can look that up. Look it up. It was made by the Belgians, I think. The Belgians, excuse me. Okay, the people of the Netherlands. That is a fact I remember. Okay, but there's other things. They're not natural. They're not natural, and they're not in their natural state. Most of the foods that we're eating, they're not the ancient food. So anyway, that's point number one. And I'm talking about hybrid. I'm giving you the information about hybrid, what that concept means. So you talk about plants and you understand that the concept of a hybrid plant, apply that to a person. So let me continue. Number one, it's the just as a fact, starchy plants are not natural. They are hybrids. Number two, when you make a copy of anything on the copying machine, the text is weakened. The essence of whatever you're copying is weakened. You make a copy of a copy of a copy, the quality of that copy literally declines. So I'm using the example of a copy in a piece of paper. You can see that the quality declines. Okay, that's point two about hybrids. Point three, apply that to genetics and the same thing happens. Let's apply it to animals. Okay, they have now, and this is not now, but it's on a grand scale, it's on a crazy scale now. They have hybridized animals a lot. So now what have they created? They have manipulated the genes, because they've mapped out the genes, okay? They've been working on this for a long time. So basically when they do the gene mapping, the genome project, they are trying to find out every ingredient of gene and what it does. So then if you know what it does, it becomes a formula, and you start fucking up the genes. You say, oh, this gene is the one that regulates height and growth. All right, let's start fucking around with that. It's not like one exact gene, but anyway, they know the genes that work together. Two, that is the master of producing your height or something like that. So they start fucking around with that, and they did that in animals. They figured how to do it in animals, and that's how you now have ligers, which is a tiger and a lion, that they're not supposed to mix together.